Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm doing another news update. So the mobile Fidelity leak just got expanded. There is another 10 or so titles that I didn't mention in yesterday's video that have now been confirmed are coming from mobile Fidelity. And it's actually kind of ironic because a lot of the titles in that video I had mentioned I would love to see more Miles done. Well, this list that I'm going to share with you now contains a lot more Miles Davis titles, which I truly feel should be in print. And they're going to be in print. But I'm going to start with the Randy Travis Storms of Life. I know diddly squat about Randy Travis, in all honesty, but this is going to be a 33 RPM single standard vinyl version. It's actually, out of everything we've talked about, this is the only, out of these 30 or 40 titles in the last 2 days, this is the only 33 RPM, just standard, regular vinyl record. The next two I'm really stoked about. The Warren Zevon 45 RPM self-titled and Excitable Boy. Those are going to be standard 45 RPM records. Keep in mind the single disc 33s are $40, the double disc 45 RPMs are $60. Both of those are getting just a standard 45 RPM issue. The next couple of titles, the Miles Davis, I saw a lot of people complaining on forums, they're doing the same thing, they're doing the same thing. Actually, they're not doing the same thing. And I'll tell you why they're not doing the same thing. Couple of reasons. One, they're all on super vinyl, the quietest vinyl formulation currently being made today. Nothing even comes close to the SRX super vinyl, one-step vinyl, you name it. The official name for it is VR900. That is a vinyl formulation very similar in transparency to the original JVC super vinyl that was used by Mobile Fidelity in the 80s. So they're all on super vinyl. Costs a little more, but obviously there's a market for it, right? People are saying, oh, they're doing the same old titles, they're doing the same old titles. Well, there's a market for it because most of these Miles Davis titles are $200 to $400 on the secondary market now. So there's a huge clamoring for these records. But there are some differences. So they're doing Jack Johnson, that was done as a 33. They're doing a 33 on super vinyl. They're doing Round About Midnight, again, same thing, just on super vinyl. They're doing On the Corner, same thing, but on super vinyl. Keep in mind, Jack Johnson is one of my all-time favorite jazz records. I put it in my video of top 10 jazz records for people who don't like jazz. I feel it's a fantastic gateway record. It's really heavy guitar. It's really easy for a rock listener to kind of transition into jazz vis-a-vis that album. Somebody who's real into like heavy guitar, 60s sound, lots of solos, kind of that whole Woodstock generation of rock and roll, sit down, Grateful Dead style, long solos. It's very similar to that. It's a heavy-duty rock record, essentially with some Miles Davis on it. It's a fantastic record. I highly recommend it. If you're not a jazz fan, you can, with this list, if you're a MoFi fan, start there. Jack Johnson. But they are doing essentially two brand new titles. So here's a Miles Davis, Miles Smiles, and Sorcerer. So both of these albums came out before, but they came out as 45 RPMs. And keep in mind, not everybody is a fan of 45 RPMs. So what they're doing actually is a super vinyl Miles Smiles, but that's a single disc 33 RPM title. So whole new pressing. A lot of guys don't like 45. You now have a 33. Same thing with Sorcerer. They did it before as a 45 RPM. I've got it right here. That is now coming out as a single disc super vinyl title. And we got what I see. Did I say mention My Funny Valentine? Also, they're going to do a super vinyl version of iRobot. So there is actually going to be 4 versions of iRobot in print simultaneously, essentially from Mobile Fidelity. They're going to do a 33 RPM super vinyl of iRobot, a 45 RPM of iRobot, which is already in print. If you guys check out my shootout video I did of iRobot, I'm almost positive that record came on top. It is absolutely fantastic. I did a shootout of it. Check that out. It'll be interesting to see how these other titles place. And they're also doing, as per my previous list, a 33 RPM and a 45 RPM one-stop. A lot of people are perplexed by this, but this is not actually new. Classic Records was doing, and they did it a little bit backwards, because Classic Records would start with a lower quality, and it was constantly, you had to buy better and better and better and better to keep getting the next best copy. So you were roped into essentially buying every version they ever came out with if you wanted the best sounding version. Mobile Fidelity has been kind of transparent in the fact that they're telling you ahead of time what's coming out. You can pick what you want to buy. You pretty much can assume that although the 45 RPM one-step is going to be the most inconvenient, it's also going to be the best sounding version. I mean, I think that's probably consensus at this point. Anybody who's listened to the one-steps probably would agree with that. So you really know ahead of time what's going on. It's not like they're kind of doing the rope-a-dope to where they're starting you off on the cheapest, and 5 records later, you now have the same record 5 times from them, but you now get to have the best version. That's really not the case here, so I don't understand why people are complaining about it. Nobody's telling you got to buy all 4 copies of iRobot. I'm going to buy all 4 copies of iRobot. You don't have to buy all 4 copies of iRobot. The very fact that they're making it, though, is cool. It's funny. People complain either way. People are complaining, I love that record, why'd they do it at 45? Oh, I love this. Why'd they do it as a double? Oh, this is a fantastic record. It really needs a 45 RPM treatment. This 33 doesn't justify. Doesn't do it justice. It needs the full-blown treatment. And I hear it all. Then they go and do every single thing possible, every format you can imagine, and now people are still complaining. So take that for what it's worth. But a fantastic list. I also wanted to mention yesterday that they're actually doing a little bit of internal change up on the way things are processed. You know, right now, things are an absolute disaster with production, shipping, the whole 9 yards. Some of you guys have noticed that a lot of things now are starting to ship from Las Vegas. I like it because Vegas to me is a 1-day turnaround time. So when I'm ordering stuff, I'm getting it quick. But one of the things they're actually doing now is they're internally packing one-steps. So Mobile Fidelity themselves are doing a second layer of quality control. They're getting these records in Vegas. They're inspecting record 1, inspecting record 2, boxing them up, shrinking them, and then sending them off. Before, it was all done by RTI. So what's quite nice is now, you know, there was a point in time 3-4 years ago, 2 years ago, when these one-steps started going, and even till somewhat recently, there was some issues to where, you know, you would get 2 disc ones, or there was quality control issues. And I mean, I often told people, like, look, Mobile Fidelity orders the records, they don't make them. Obviously, Mobile Fidelity is held responsible for it. It's their product. I totally get that. And they've always made right on it. They would send me replacement parts to take care of customers' orders. But it ultimately was not them the one, you know, they were not the ones packing the box. But now they are. So quality control is going to go way up because Mobile Fidelity themselves are packing the boxes. They're going to have all the extra parts. Say in a hypothetical situation where they got 2,000 disc 1s and 2,000 disc 2s, and something did happen, I mean, they would know ahead of time because you'd have all these extras of one and not the other, and they'd be able to rectify that pretty quick. So I'm actually quite thrilled about that. It's not something that they've really announced, but that's something that's come with them, you know, moving this production off to Las Vegas. Another benefit to that is, keep in mind, RTI, the manufacturer of vinyl, is absolutely slammed. I mean, next level slammed. I'll tell you how slammed they are. I've talked about the record I'm making many, many times, the Wild Times record. RTI will not press a record without a jacket, okay? So you guys know I've been working on this record almost 2 years. Stoughton finally got done with my beautiful tip-on jacket. They're getting ready to go to RTI, and what does RTI tell me? We cannot take your records until next year, your jackets. So I can't even get on the list to make records until next year when they get the jackets, and that's when the clock even starts. So it's a cluster right now. So this kind of benefits twofold. One, they get better, you know, hands-on over the quality control, and two, things can get out of RTI quicker. MoFi is now taking the reins on doing the final buttoning up, and they're sent off to customers, dealers, me quicker, and then I send them off to you guys quicker. So that's kind of a cool little internal tweak that's taking place that is actually going to be quite beneficial. All right, so the Nirvana. This has been just the biggest fiasco ever. So when I made that first video and I told you guys how rare that was going to be, I made that based off of all the information that I had, and I kind of talked to you guys about that information. There was even more info that I didn't mention to you. I talked to you guys in great depth about the distributor level. I contacted all the distributors. I knew exactly what was coming. I knew what I was getting. I knew what everybody, you know, distributor-wise, label, I knew what they were sending out. But it wasn't just that. I'm in close communication with a lot of store owners. I talk to a lot of the store owners in Arizona. I also talk to a lot of store owners on the West and the East Coast. I also am in communication with some of the absolute largest online retailers in the country. And everybody in the United States, from a store level, distributor level, was getting virtually none of their product that they ordered. They were told, just like me, this is not coming. You're going to get a couple of copies. We should have told you guys it was limited, and that was the end. So my thinking is like, my information was sound. What I didn't account for is, I can't call Jeff Bezos up and say, hey, Jeff, buddy, how many copies of Nirvana are you getting? How did your allocation pan out? What did it look like? Or, the board over at Best Buy or Walmart or, the big box stores. I couldn't do that. But what I was able to do is talk to the people, who are really, don't get me going on Amazon. But I was able to talk to the guys in the trenches. We all had the little talk, and we kind of knew ahead of time we were all getting screwed. We're all in the same boat here. We're all getting screwed. It's not a big deal because everybody's getting screwed. So if everybody's getting screwed, nobody's upset because everybody expects it, kind of thing, right? Put the video out, did an unboxing on it. I listened to it. Again, I'm not thrilled with the record. It is not, I think it's a poor sounding record, especially coming off of the amazing analog Bernie Grundman cut and the fact that you could still go, I think Target's got gray vinyl versions, although the vinyl's a little noisier, but it's still using that Bernie Grundman master, which is fantastic, all analog. Wasn't thrilled with the record. Emails start coming in. Yeah, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what Mike's talking about. I went to Best Buy, got this record. Amazon has them. I bought 10 on Amazon. Days go by. Amazon's got them. Everybody in Europe's getting them. Australia's contacting me. They're getting my local store got 80 of them. And I think, what the hell is going on? Well, the long story short, and it's very disappointing that this happened, but if you go on Amazon right now, I think you could still get copies of this record. The last I looked, you can go to your big box store if you want to go to Walmart. You want to go to Amazon. These records are available. What ended up happening is all the record stores got allocated to like virtually no merchandise, and everything got dumped off at Amazon. Very disappointing from my, I'm not thrilled at it. I have absolutely zero control over it. There's nothing I can do about it. Logistically, Amazon maybe just felt it would be easier to back the trucks up, drop everything off at Amazon. And that's what happened. Amazon got all the merchandise. I know logistically when you deal with small stores, it is off. Obviously, there's thousands of independent record stores in the United States now. It's obviously much more difficult distributing that out to all the stores, although the distributors pretty much handle it. There's not many distributors. What their logic was, what their reasoning was for it, I'm extremely disappointed. I hope this is not a trend in the vinyl business. I know it's all about money when it comes to corporations in general. I'm not singling out anyone, but they're there to make money, and I totally get that. But I think it is going to be very sad if the industry goes to a format that hurts record stores and props up guys like Amazon and all these other big box stores who, in all honesty, couldn't give two flying shits about vinyl. It's a widget to them. They're selling widgets. They don't care where their money comes from. If vinyl starts going down in popularity, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be selling records. I believe in it. I believed in it 10 years ago when I was dealing at shows and whatnot, buying and collecting, when nobody gave a flying flip about records. I believed in it. I believed in it collecting in the 90s as a kid. It's always been a part of my life. It always will be a part of my life. It is not necessarily always going to be a part of Amazon's life or Best Buy's life. So I hate to see it come to a situation to where record stores start getting cut from standard releases in lieu of shipping to Amazon. That is very disappointing to me. Now, it's something that has always been done. Labels sell directly now. They'll keep merchandise for themselves, and unfortunately, they're selling more and more directly. Direct sales has become a thing. But they also make exclusive limited variants of records. So they'll make a purple vinyl such and such exclusive to the store of, their own store. Or the artists will have an exclusive color. That has been going on for quite some years now. But to have a title that is advertised and sold as a mainstream release everybody expects to be able to get it everywhere. All of us record stores are looking like turds because we don't have any merchandise, but now all of our customers get to go buy it elsewhere, Best Buy or Amazon. I just very, very disappointed, but there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I can come on YouTube and complain about it a little bit. It's not going to get me anywhere. But in my opinion, if a title is going to be exclusive to such and such, let's know all that information at a time. Don't give all the customers and stores the false illusion that there's going to be, you're getting copies of this. You get a couple of copies of it, and then it goes off to, a box store. Very disappointing. But yeah, started off with good news, ended with poor news, but uncontrollable. But yeah, that's it. Check us out online, guys. www.theingroove.com. Until next time.